Gary says D Ford, too accident prone. Draft a young edge rusher to develop with Bosa and Sampson. Jimmy G will hopefully be gone by training camp, need cap money. First part, do you think they're going to draft an edge?
No.
No.
Their first need is interior offensive line.
It really is. And then the second need is
it's
interior
the center
line.
position too. They've been steadfast on how important the center position is. I think it's high time you invest a second or third round pick and develop a center to be a long-term answer at the position, then keep patching it up with these veterans.
Yeah,
you're not going to be in a position to sign Alex Mack or a Weston Richburg next offseason, even if these guys become available.
Good point. And asked today about Alex Mack, John Lynch still wasn't definitive. He says he's under the impression, working out like he is, like, okay, but he hasn't said so yet. Just saying. Niners Nation interviewed Lance, asked him about Tom Brady rumors weeks ago, and Lance said, "I'm ready to play. Can't wait to start. Confident." He seems confident.
Yeah. Probably. What else is he supposed to say? Oh, well, I'm good with sitting behind Brady.
Yeah. We should get Brady. I think we should get Brady. Julio says, "I think Debo wants to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league, but they want to make him the highest paid running back in the league." Well, that's a big difference. It's about a difference of $15 million.
Here's my question, Grant. And I think here's where the Debo situation maybe will become more interesting. If the 49ers don't make him, do you think there would be a team willing to make Debo Samuel the highest paid receiver in the league? Because if I'm the Jets tomorrow with unlimited cap space, running that type of offense,
how desperate. Think about how desperate Saleh is. He's looking, because I think the way they look at it is like most coaches get 3 years, New York you get 2. And he's on the hot seat right now because they didn't do well last year. So he needs to keep his job.
They still don't have that guy on their offense that's just a game breaker, game changer. You just put the ball in his hands and it's explosive play after explosive play because
Okay. So with the Jets. Okay, so the Jets.
No, this is just for the sake of conversation, right? This is just for the sake of conversation. But I do think all I'm saying is I do think there would be teams willing to make Debo Samuel the highest paid receiver. But I don't necessarily look at it as the Niners are looking to make him the highest paid running back. I just think they don't want him also near $30 million, which is where the highest paid receiver would be, because Bosa and Trent Williams are already going to be those two guys. If he's at 22 to 24, a little bit over Fred Warner, a little bit over George Kittle, I think I'm 100% good with that. I think that makes a lot of sense from their overall roster building and structure.
The Niners are just so into being like family. Oh, we got to do right by our guys. Like, no, you're a business, and you don't have to trade Debo. He's not going anywhere else, but you don't just have to make him happy with your offer. Like, nah, you got to you keep him on your terms, and you have the leverage here, and use it for once, maybe.
And from the hierarchy of the team, Grant, if he fits in right where I said, it makes more sense, because the best player on this team, as much as we love Debo Samuel, is Trent Williams. He deserves to be the highest paid player. The second best player, as much as we love Debo Samuel, is Nick Bosa. He deserves to be the second highest paid player on the team. In my opinion, Debo is probably third, right above Fred Warner and Kittle. So I think if they can fit him right there, to me, that's the sweet spot for both sides.
Well, we'll see. Gary says Debo balls out this season like last, pay the man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with that. Same with Bosa. Eugene says throwing quick, short, precise timing routes is not Trey Lance's strong suit. He doesn't mesh with Debo as much as he does Ayuk. Will the Niners factor that into their outlook on whether to keep him?
To me, this is wrong on a lot of different levels. When I studied these quarterbacks before the draft, I thought Mac Jones was best in the quick game. Then, to me, it was Zach Wilson and Trey Lance. To me, the guy that struggled in the quick game was both Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, and especially Justin Fields. So I didn't feel that way. In terms of short timing routes, I mean, you guys are acting like I don't know where this perception is that Brandon Ayuk is somehow like Tyreek Hill, where he's just winning vertically every play on just pure speed off the line of scrimmage. Like Brandon Ayuk's majority of his routes are basically backside ends when he's the isolated X receiver, or a lot of lookie routes. They call them backside lookies, which are, slants basically to the backside of the play, and he's the alert. Jimmy Garoppolo loves throwing those. So technically a lot of Ayuk's skill set in terms of what they've asked him to do fits with Garoppolo. Yes. Because if you have a concept side and Garoppolo only throws the backside slant because he doesn't want to throw the out to the concept side, it makes it easier for Ayuk in terms of usage. So I don't think that – I think a lot of what Ayuk does, Debo does well too, and I think they would both fit perfectly with Trey Lance, because at the end of the day, Trey Lance to me will improve in the quick game. I thought he was really, really good at it in college. It'll just be play action, maybe add a little more vertical plays, not because they didn't have them before, it's because the quarterback is more willing to throw them. But it's still going to be a run-heavy offense. And this offense is still going to be around trying to get number 19, Deebo Samuel, the ball 10 to 12 times a game because he's the best player on offense other than Trent Williams.
Yeah. Joseph says, Grant, when did this franchise become content with just being mediocre? No curve, no definitive plan, and in the end, no Super Bowl. I think you know the answer. It's the difference in ownerships. I think what we've seen from this one is that they have this new stadium, which the previous ownership couldn't get. They're so proud of it, Levi's, that the most important thing is keeping Levi's packed. And that's why that's why they're planning for the future and the present at the same, like, as long, we're not going to sacrifice the future. We're not going to have years where no one's in this freaking stadium where people are like protesting and flying. We're not going to have that. And as long as we're selling this out, we're good. I think that's kind of how Jed acts, but I could be wrong. That's my interpretation. I don't know. Swan Song says, TF hat. What if Mac is waiting who the quarterback will be? What? I don't get it. What is Mac is waiting? I don't understand. Sorry,
what
Swan.
He's asking, what if Mac's waiting for who the quarterback will be? Alex Mack.
Oh, Alex Mack.
Yeah.
Oh, could be.
I mean, could be. Trey Lance likes his butt sweat more than Garoppolo.
Possible. We'll have to ask Trey Lance. Official BNA Music 88 says, Jimmy Garoppolo fans who want 19 traded are so delusioned by the he's a winner, but forgot how we won games.
19.
Not 19.
He saved the season. I was there in Chicago. If he doesn't take that screen pass for 83 yards on 3rd and 15, the Niners, or I mean, even with that, they were Taysom Hill and Ian Book and Trevor Siemian starting a couple games for the Saints, and a Jesse Bates drop pick 6 as to why they made the playoffs. But if he doesn't take that screen pass 83 yards, are you kidding me?
Dude, and that's all that Deebo should say in the negotiations. He'd be like, first of all, none of you guys would be employed right now if I didn't take that screen 83 yards. None of you guys would be here. Like,
dude, they looked dead in the water in that game. I remember being there in Chicago, not a good football team. And it wasn't like the Niners were dominating early in that game.
They were losing at halftime. And then they got the ball. No, they were losing at halftime. Chicago gets the ball to start the second half. They score a field goal. The Niners are down 6 or 9. And then it's 3rd and 20. And it's looking like, wow, they're really going to lose to Chicago. And that means they're not going to make the playoffs. And then Deebo did that. It's like, okay. Yeah. He saved everyone's job. Because really, if they had missed the playoffs last year, that'd be 4 out of 5 years they missed the playoffs. It's hard to say who'd be here right now. Yeah. Who wouldn't? Hard to say. Don't know.
No, it would change the conversation totally. It would. It would.
So, Deebo, maybe
he
should.
Grant, I got to head out, but thank you so much for having me. Always
Absolutely.
love doing it. I'll be back next week.
Thank you. Thanks. My name's Vish, everyone. Take care, Vish.
See ya.
Yeah. Last question that I'm out. SF 49ers 89 said Grant was right the whole time. He knew no one would want Jimmy, even when everyone else said he would be traded. Thank you. Yeah. Bay Area Baller 18 also said it too. I'm just saying, like, I never thought he was good. It was hard to say it as a Niner reporter. There's a lot of pushback from Niner fans, but now that he's on the way out, I think everyone kind of agrees, and it's nice to be vindicated and not have to, some people have spent years trying to say that he's something he's not. He's a fugazi. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google Donnie Brasco fugazi. There's a 5-minute scene in a 1997 film called Donnie Brasco where Al Pacino tries to sell a fugazi to Johnny Depp. When you watch the scene, keep in mind that John Lynch is Al Pacino and the ring is Jimmy Garoppolo.